Hello. Welcome back to the show.
Yo, what's up?
This is our first mic stand show. And
that
3 angles.
3 angles?
1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm.
We're getting fancy up in here.
Yeah. We got Chris Celiz on the show this time.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How's it going? What's new?
It's, I was going to give you one of those generic answers. You know how people are like, it's going. You know, it's going. Things are going really well.
Yeah?
I'm just excited to be back in the States. Just enjoying the quiet time, you know, before getting to travel again.
Yeah, you just got back from a world tour. Well, mini world tour.
Yeah, because I was in Europe with Gene and Napalm for like 3 weeks, and they were in Japan before that. And yeah, we had a pretty crazy time.
Solid?
Yeah.
Well, what went down? What was crazy about it?
So Gene and I went out there to do the Vocal Total acapella competition, and I think it was the first time a beatboxer or beatboxers were part of like the actual acapella part.
I see.
So shout out to Ivory Nexor Parker for having us, because he was the one who was like, hey, like you guys should audition and like send in a video for the acapella stuff. I think it would be super dope to kind of like bridge those worlds. And so we were supposed to actually go right before the pandemic, and then pandemic happened, and they're like, we're not going to do this. And they're like, oh, damn. And then now we're like, you know, 2023 rolled around, and they were having it again. They're like, hey, we'd love to have you still. You know? Yeah. So we auditioned again, got in, did the whole thing, and the short version is we won in one of the categories. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's sick.
And it was sick because all the beatboxers from like, shoot, I'm going to just adjust this mic so I'm a little closer.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. Get comfy.
Because I can feel good. Oh, man, now I sound really good.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Wait for the ASMR half. That's when we can really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone. Just gonna do one of those.
Massage your ears real quick.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Shablambo's ASMR channel. Today we're going.
You got to really hit those beats. Shablambo. Beautiful.
Yeah, so it was cool because we had like everybody from the shootout battle. I call it the beatbox battle for Vocal Total. Like they came and supported at the acapella thing, which was like super dope. So it was like the first time that the beatbox scene and like the acapella scene for that event like came together. So it was like super sick.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So let's take it way back to the beginning, if you will. What was the first beatbox sound that you made? Oh
my god, the first one?
Yeah.
Probably.
I see.
Yeah.
And how did that turn into, you know?
It's a good. Let's see. I mean, I think when it comes to making sounds, I gotta really think about this. You asked a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a long answer. But I think if I were to go back to, that was like 4th grade.
Yeah.
Or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was just on the school bus, and it was one of those things where I would just go to one of my friends and be like, hey, check this out. And he's like, oh, watch, I can do it louder than you. And I'd be like, oh my god, yeah, check this out. Right? And then we'd go back and forth and just see how loud we can do it.
Solid.
You know, but there was no like musical element at all. It was just purely just being a kid wanting to just
make a sound. Yeah.
And then getting into middle school, because I grew up in New York, you know, people would always like bang on the lunchroom table and like make beats, and then people would rap and stuff over it. So me and my friends, we'd walk. My friend Patrick. Patrick.
Shout out Patrick.
Shout out Patrick. No, he didn't sound like that. But we're walking home. It's like 7th grade, and I'm like. My name is Patrick. I'm super cool, and look at me. I'm now in middle school.
Yeah.
Right, like, and then we'd walk home doing all those things. But it really wasn't until oh no, am I gonna reveal this? I will reveal this.
Everything comes out in the Shablambo podcast.
It does actually. Because I would do that, and I think now that I think about it, I've always been fascinated in beatboxing because some of the other examples that I think of, I found this out probably like a couple weeks ago. Okay, I was born in the era of boy bands.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was an NSYNC kid.
Okay.
Okay.
Because their tracks, I didn't know it, but like songs like Dirty Pop, like there were like little breaks in there. They're like,
Oh.
like yeah, they're like Dirty Pop, take a bomb. Like Dirty Pop,
all like mouth percussion, mouth sounds.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then like so Justin Timberlake had like a big Justin Timberlake and Timbaland specifically.
I see.
Yeah, so like if you listen to like Aaliyah's oh my god, I can't remember the name of the song, but
yeah.
Like, all those were,
damn.
yeah, that's all
That takes
quick
some
roll
skill.
stuff. Yeah. But he was doing it before everybody else.
Right.
Damn.
And it's so well produced that's like sometimes unless you like know what you're hearing, it's hard to tell. It's like mouth percussion.
Yeah,
mouth
exactly.
sounds.
So there's like been so Timberland, Justin Timberlake. It was always really crazy that like they started working together on music. 'Cause I love both of them, just on their
like
individual,
separately.
Yeah, separately,
Yeah.
and then they started working on the music together. I was like, wow, this is like super super dope. Because like the mouth sounds were there, but it was like I was just always drawn to that because it's like wow, you can make those sounds.
Yeah.
The actual drums with your mouth, which I always thought was super cool.
Definitely.
But I never got into it until I started playing video games. Yeah.
Was that around the era that Codfish was beatboxing on like PUBG and stuff?
It was before. So it was. I remember getting the internet.
I see.
I was pre-internet.
Okay.
Like
Right,
when I
right.
think I was like 7 or 8 when I remember like my first dial-up modem, and like
Yeah.
and then like, get off the phone, or
Of course.
oh, hey cat, what's up? Of course, come on, I love you.
Little intervention.
Yeah,
No big deal.
Yeah, damn it, cat.
Hogging the spotlight.
Yeah, hog on the spotlight. But guys, my shout out to my pets.
Shout out to the fam.
Shout out to Chauncey and CJ,
Mm-hmm.
both CH names. Yeah, I think it was like 13 or 14. So the beginning of the internet, there wasn't streaming or even like YouTube.
Right.
There was just like you had like Yahoo search and like
Chat rooms and
chat
stuff.
rooms and stuff and forums.
Yeah.
So when I played SSX Tricky on GameCube,
Right.
the first level was this is Rozelle.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
The
and I was
scratches.
like, yeah, this is crazy. So I looked up on LimeWire. Do you guys know what
Yeah,
LimeWire is?
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of LimeWire.
It was one of those like I never used it, but I knew what it was from like my dad talking about it. And
Yeah.
stuff.
So do you know about Kazaa?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
So this is before streaming. This was the way that you could, download records online.
Damn.
Yeah, and you type it in. It's like a search engine, but like you'd eventually destroy your computer because there were viruses.
Right,
and
right.
Yeah.
Which I did many a time. And like, my parents didn't understand what the computer did.
Yeah.
Because it was a computer. Like, who knew what a computer did?
Right.
Unless
It was
you-
so new.
Yeah, unless your parents were like scientists or in tech or something.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, or they were like, I don't know why you need this and why is the screen blue? What does that even mean? Did you just I just bought this for you. Are you crazy? And I was like, well, I didn't mean, I just wanted an album.
Right. Yeah.
But so, I downloaded the Rozelle album, Make Music 2000, because I wanted to find that SSX track.
Right.
But I found his album instead, and then at the end there's this track called The Four Elements, and that track changed my life because it was 2 DJs and 2 beatboxers and Kenny Muhammad and Rozelle, and then they did like the elements of nature, and then
Oh, that's sick.
yeah. So like the wind technique.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and like Earth was cut hot, ain't it funky? Cut hot, like all of that was just
showcasing
like,
so many styles.
Yeah.
Just in that one song.
Yeah, I was like, what? And you couldn't, tell the difference. Like there was a break at the end. It was like,
Right. Yeah.
Do you want to battle? Right? Like all those like break beats. That's like, whoa, that like really got me into, okay, I got to learn about this. So I searched online for how to beatbox, and what I found was humanbeatbox.com, which was
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually back then it was humanbeatbox.co.uk, and it was a forum, and it was run by a pastor by the name of Gavin Tite. And so his mission was just to make beatboxing available to anybody for free. And so he had a video series and taught all the like basics, like throw kick, and like click. And
they got like MRIs of like all the sounds being made too, so you can see exactly what part of your mouth and throat you need to use. And
yeah. And shout out to Kaz, you get from humanbeatbox.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kaz and John.
Kaz. Gotta get them all.
Gotta get them all. We could take an ad. You want to take an ad break right now?
Yeah, we could take an ad break.
Yeah, let's take an
It's ad break.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
And welcome back to the Shablambo podcast featuring Shablambo and Matt.
Hope you enjoyed the ad break. So, now that we're back, we have 3 angles now.
Holy snap.
You can see all of us. Isn't this crazy?
Insane.
Yeah.
Matt face reveal on Highly Intelligent.
Whoa, first time ever. It's crazy. I'm the editor, so actually it's just me pixelated through this, and I'm gonna motion track that. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
should
gonna
zoom
do
in
that.
and then pixelate your face like,
Yeah.
It'd be sick. Yeah.
Face reveal at the end, so you have to stay all the way to the end.
For
There's 30 seconds of my unblurred face.
Subscribers only face reveal.
Yeah, subscribers only.
Ooh.
Stay tuned for that.
So, let's get back on track.
Yeah. Where were we?
You just started beatboxing from the internet.
Humanbeatbox.com.
Yeah.
Well, it was humanbeatbox.co.uk.
Right.
And so the way the forums would work, it would be separated into like tutorial section, and there were videos, and there was audio as well. And like everybody from around the world were just sharing. They were uploading their freestyles and their videos of like them just doing their freestyles. So I remember listening to ZD, to Darnie for the first time. Yeah, but his name back in the day was Vash.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, and that came from his MSN Messenger. That was his MSN Messenger.
Right.
Shout out to Darnie.
Big shout out.
One of the greatest.
Yeah, legend.
And a fantastic friend. But yeah, Hobbit, listen to, and all the like OG UK scene
Right.
is where.
So it was mostly like a UK based thing, because it was not UK, it was a UK form.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's where I came across Reaps, and then Hobbit, A+, Yasun. They used to do this event called King of the Jam, where they would get together and just like beatbox with each other and then have jam.
That's cool.
Literal jam.
That's fire.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And what I really loved about what they were doing in the UK is like so community based.
Right.
And they started doing the Human Beatbox Convention, and they came to New York this one year. And then I was like super hooked. It's like, oh my God, I live in New York.
Damn.
I need to go to one of these. So like Modest Yahoo came out and did that. Then you had people like Kid Beyond, who was one of the first people who I saw use a looper with like Ableton and did the foot looping stuff.
That was probably
That's
like
fire.
transformative.
Yeah, super transformative. And then so Kid Beyond and Each and Click the Super Latin, those are all like West Coast guys that I would watch. And I found this guy Lee J Abukayan, who was like a Filipino American beatboxer, and I was like super hooked like watching this person, because I was like, oh, that's like, I'm like that. I'm like a Filipino kid, and look at this guy. And
anytime you can get that relatability in the thing, it makes it so much more real.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So shout out to Lee J for that. Was that rolling again? Did it stop? no freaking way. It was rolling.
It was rolling. I did see it.
Yeah.
No way.
We got 3 minutes of wide shot.
3 minutes of wide shot.
Beautiful.
Damn, I'm so sorry, guys.
It's all right.
It's fine.
I really,
It's all good.
we'll just keep going.
2 will
I
be
guess.
plenty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you
I'm just upset.
discovered all those guys,
Yeah.
you started grinding out your beatbox skills.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go from being a random kid seeing all these beatbox videos to joining the Beatbox House?
Well, okay, so there's a whole period of time there.
Yeah,
Basically, Chesney Snow and Archangel were putting together, I think it was like the second Human Beatbox Convention, and what they wanted to do was also turn that into the first American Beatbox Championships.
Oh.
They were going to happen in New York. So I was hyped because Human Beatbox, was owned by Archangel at the time, and Tight, and everybody was gonna come.
Yeah.
From like overseas, and then all the hip hop, legends were also coming out. The
That's
Beatbox
fire.
legends were coming
Like a
out.
Very central event.
Yeah. So basically, like, that's where I met Scott for the first time, Korean
Okay.
Effects, Litos, Hobbit, and then also, Razel was there, and he was one of the judges.
That's fire.
Jairobi
sick.
from A Tribe Called Quest, which is super cool.
Holy shit.
And dudes from EPMD. Yes, it was like hip hop. It was like a cool mix
Right.
of everything, because it was the first one, and I was in that battle. I was in that battle for the first. I came in dead last. It was.
It's crazy that you were in it though.
It was.
Yeah.
At the time, I was so embarrassed because all my friends come out from college, and I had like 40 people in the crowd.
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And it was different with the championships then, because they had different categories where you had to like beatbox along to like an acapella,
Okay.
and then you had to like, kind of like freestyle. I
Yeah.
don't remember all the categories, but basically they judged the top 8 on how well you did those 3 category things.
Oh, okay. So it was a mix of all 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you got to like a top 4. And I think that's the year that Frisco won.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Heaven was in that as well.
When did battling take the scene?
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Nice.
I see.
Yeah. So I've been in the scene since then,
I see.
which is kind of crazy.
Well, like when I say battling, I mean in terms of more traditional, like 90-second rounds.
Okay, yeah. So shout out to Bilo for this, and the German champs. I think that was like the first, when YouTube was coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the first, I think they were the first ones to put out like the battles in that kind of format.
Okay.
And because it was on YouTube and the first one, like that's where all of my generation of beatboxers would start watching.
Yeah,
stuff.
got access. To that.
So you're like, oh wow, that's how Europe started to really grow, and create a network of stuff.
Right.
So with like my generation, we're like a hybrid again. This is all gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Yes, because that was the lane, and we started watching like Alem, and then obviously Litos and Hobbit, all these people. Darna was battling. Then you saw Reaps, Joel Turner, Roxaloops, ZD, all these people just like Kim, everybody just getting the battle over there. Like you wanted to be part of that scene because they were the ones who were just sharing that was a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, wow, like, and for me being an adolescent, I've always wanted to battle since I was.
Right.
But it was because I just wanted to be around other people who are gonna like do this thing that I love seriously too.
That community mindset.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also is like an anime thing. It's like I want to be the best,
Yeah.
and I want to find all the other
Yeah,
people who are the best to get the best.
The Beatbox
Yeah.
Discord is doing really good in terms of like giving out badges and stuff to your Discord profile.
Yeah.
For what battles you've won and stuff, and just to like show everyone else you got some cred. It's pretty dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Beatbox Community and
Yeah.
Decoy, the whole team.
Yeah,
they're doing great work.
Villain.
And Villain, shout out to Tony. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But basically, over those years, because I lived in New York, and a couple other people also live in New York, beatboxers started to come to just participate in the championships.
I see.
And then you had Beatbox Television, who started to partner to put on the championships. So Adam, Andrew Corey, shout out to Beatbox Television, was like our Paponi over here. But before Paponi was like, you know,
Right.
like a CEO of Swiss,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he was just filming videos.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
see.
So Adam was our Paponi, and we'd go over to his house in Bushwick, and we would film videos.
Mm-hmm.
It was like me, Verbal Ace, Kenny, Spencer.
That's
yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
OG group.
Yeah. Amit was there all the time. J Flo, Kayla, Mark
Mhm.
Martin. You know,
Yeah.
all of us. Gray Matter, Johnny Buffalo. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Benny Hanna. But I could go.
Yeah, the list is endless.
Right, but like that was the crew that would just, you know, we're local and we'd hang out and see each other all the time. So we started making those videos because we like beatboxing. Right?
Yeah.
And beatboxers just always needed a place to stay. So there was Mark's house, there was Kayla's house, or Kayla lived in an apartment on the Upper West Side, and then there was my apartment that I got when I was like 23.
Right. Yep.
That people started to stay at, and then people would rotate, and then Adam's place too. So people would rotate,
Yeah.
like just depending on who had a floor to sleep on,
Yeah.
That's fire.
you know. And so we did that over a long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then Gene started to travel from Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Gene was going to Berkeley at the time.
Got
And
it.
so, you know, would stay over at the house. I would go over there. And, yeah, over the years, everyone just started to kind of congregate at my place.
Okay.
Not by choice. I just was also like, hey, you can come and stay here if you need a place to stay. Because, you know, I also grew up that kind of way. If you need something, you could come and you can hang. And
Just like welcoming.
yeah, if you needed it, you had it kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so... what happened over the years, there were just a couple people who just never left.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like they would come all the time and just you'd be like, oh, wow. Like these are the people who want to train and want to like just beatbox. And also they're fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
You know, back like 2014 and 2015, those champs were like, I love those champs because afterwards too, everyone would be at the house. There'd be like 20 people sleeping on 20 beatbox. And I'm talking about like BBK, C Fresh.
Just like
You know.
the first bush at that Airbnb.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
exactly the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's why we're all so close, because we've basically just been growing up together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like a community. There's like a whole wider community, but like a family
Yeah.
as well on that
100%. Yeah.
that
And
level.
It yeah, those are some really beautiful times.
I
Just
see.
you know,
Yeah.
so it kind of happened organically, and at the time I was a full-time teacher.
Okay.
I was teaching music in New York City public schools.
Got it.
You know,
How was that?
awesome. It was also really hard.
Yeah.
to do-
I've heard teaching
Yeah,
is tough.
yeah, but it like prepared me for, I feel, everything that I needed to get into this part of my life. I think. 'Cause
Yeah.
kids prepare you for
Anything.
yeah. They're not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I'll walk in, they're like, Mister, you look ugly today. I'm like, thanks. And I
Damn.
put on and some of them are like, where are your glasses? That's disgusting. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just put my glasses back on. They're like, oh, thank God. Thank God. You look so much better now. So I would do that. I wake up at like 6:00 and then everybody's sleeping, right?
Right,
So
right,
you have
right.
Kenny over there, Amit over here, Gene's over there, and then Neil somewhere. And then, you know, and at the time, like Mark was also, the original house was me, Johnny Buffalo, Mark Martin, and then my ex, Izzy.
So you guys
Okay.
Yeah.
are the Beatbox House because of the house that you all stayed at.
Correct. Yes.
see.
That's
Okay.
all.
Cool.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Because it was, you know, my apartment, and
Did you guys literally call it the Beatbox House, or was that the name came after your like?
I think
well,
the
we're
name
all-
came. I think Kenny actually was the one who coined the name.
Okay.
And funny enough, me personally, I didn't want to do this. Like,
Yeah?
I didn't
Okay.
want, because I was like, there's no career in this.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. Well,
Right.
You know, which is crazy to even think about now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just being very honest, I was like, this is not feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Like there isn't anyone as like a group who's like made this like a sustainable thing.
Right.
I was thinking very pragmatically.
Yeah.
You know, how I grew up, you know, I didn't come from a lot of money, and like I was making money as a teacher now, and I was like, this makes sense to me. I can pay my
This
rent.
is stable.
This is stable, and like, you know, I could, you know, at the time I thought I was gonna marry the person I was with,
Yeah.
and I was
Right.
like, oh, I can just like move my life forward, right?
Right,
But like, so
right.
beatboxing, that's just a fun thing. That
Yeah,
I do.
hobby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because Johnny Buffalo, shout out to Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
was the one who actually came down. I remember he came in my room and he's like, dude, we gotta have rehearsals, and like everybody could come and we can meet up and we could put all these arrangements together, and then like we can go start doing gigs. And then I was like, nah, that's not gonna work, dude.
Right,
It's
right.
like everybody's a diva, nobody's gonna show up on time,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know if we're gonna have the work ethic, and you know.
Right.
And so I was just like, from the beginning, I was like, hell no.
Just seeing all the holes in it.
Yeah, from the beginning, I was like, this is not going to be a thing. But
We're kind of in the same boat. Not like seeing all the problems with it, but us boys are trying to learn how to be a better crew. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a little echoey. There we go. That's
Yeah.
a lot nicer.
yeah,
But we're at the point where everything's so busy right now that we're trying to get together and like coordinate,
yeah,
like being a crew. But it's just hard since we're all like spread apart trying to
Yeah,
get.
half of us live like an hour from each other.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the craziest part. And so Neil used to live 8 hours away.
Dang.
And then he would travel because he was in Pittsburgh. So he
Yeah.
would take the
Right,
bus.
yeah.
He would come, and he was like 17 at the time. He
Oh,
would
wow.
come, and then he would stay, and then beatbox 2-3 weeks straight,
Mhm.
and then go back.
That's nuts.
Gene was 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny was like 3, like
Mhm.
Connecticut, and then Amit lived in Queens, so he just took the train.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, whenever.
So it was kind of just like a perfect storm. That,
Yeah, and we didn't mean for it to happen. It's just one of those things where people were just around each other
Yeah.
all the time, and we just ended up
And there was-
liking that we enjoyed each other's company. 'Cause it was just fun.
Yeah.
You know?
There was so much good energy that even though it was 8 hours away, Gene was 5 hours away, you guys
Yeah.
still met up and grinded it out for weeks at a time.
Yeah, and Kayla and Mark were part of that as well.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, that just crazy is just a crazy chaotic time.
So how
Yeah.
did that
You know?
evolve into the modern Beatbox House that we know today?
Oh God. Lots of growing as people. But I think, you know, when it comes to, I think with the 5 of us, we kind of chose each other in terms of a group and a vibe. Because Mark and Kayla used to be part of the group, and then Mark wasn't around for, because he went on tour. He was on tour with Vocal People, and he was doing
Okay.
like really great work
Mm-hmm.
out there, but he wasn't home. So
Right.
we got to develop a lot of bonds while, you know,
He was on tour.
Yeah, while he was on tour,
Mm-hmm.
and so, you know, Kayla was also a part of that bonding process, and
Mhm.
then Kayla at some point was like, "I'm gonna take a different route."
Right.
And she's a superstar now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On Broadway.
Dang.
You know, she's killing it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And they're
And
putting
doing her
together the American Champs now too.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah. They've been doing it for the past 7 years, along with Jake.
Yo.
Okay,
For the American Beatbox. Yeah.
My first one was 2 years ago. And that
Oh,
was,
nice.
Or well, year before last year. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, just going through your 20s and then trying to understand who you are as a person, which all of us were doing,
Yeah.
while trying to build something, was really hard.
definitely.
And I think, but I'm grateful that it was that difficult. 'Cause
Right.
I think all of us in the house have kind of seen like the worst version of each other.
Right,
If
yeah.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
That'll definitely help strengthen friendship in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can make it through this, we can make it through anything.
Right,
Yeah.
100%. And it's tough because I think the quality of your life is comes down to how willing you are to have difficult conversations.
Yeah,
So true.
And I've had so many of me just like wiling out, just crying, yelling at people because I didn't
mhm.
understand how to express my emotions or communicate effectively. Even
Right.
though I was a teacher, it was really hard to
Yeah.
like. There's just a lot of stress at the time.
Oh yeah.
Just I'm trying to pay my rent, and then everybody's like staying over all the time,
Mhm.
and like my relationship at the time wasn't working out,
Right. It's
and
a
that
whole different thing.
yeah, basically, but everybody had an intervention with me. It was like, this is not a good person for you, and I'm like crying, folding clothes. But yeah, it was Kenny. You know, in a lot of ways, I couldn't hear it. I mean, I did hear it at the time, but like, if it wasn't for him and the other guy stepping in, just to be like, he's basically like, look, you're gonna be watching us on TV.
Yep.
And you're going to get married to this other person, and you are going to be miserable. And you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Wow.
don't choose doing this thing with us, I know for a fact that you will regret it.
Wow.
You know? And so, and then, you know, then the ball was in my court, and then I chose to end that thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kayla was there for that too. And you know, we all, and that was the second house too, because we moved in. So it was like 8 people and then a dog.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
It
people.
was crazy. And then at the time, like, Iz was also a co-producer with Chesney on the American Beatbox Championships.
I see.
And so all of us were just, it was just this crazy mix. And you know, and it was really stressful.
I see.
And so and then also beatboxing and training at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Trying to like
You know?
improve your craft every day.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, you know, when you see us and like we're hanging out and, you know, we're just kind of bullshitting or whatever, just having, it's, you know, like we've just gone through so much of life together at this point that it's like, all right, we've made it this far. Why not see how far we can take it?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So it hasn't gotten easier, I don't think.
Right.
But in terms of like that, we have new challenges as the Beatbox House because we're
Definitely.
learning how to like, we're starting to make a little bit of money, and then now how do we structure this business? What's
Right.
fair for everybody as a part of it? How do we divide the labor?
Right. Yeah. 5 people is a lot.
Yeah.
Think about it as like a team.
Yeah,
From that perspective.
and so understanding everybody's strengths and then
Yeah.
how they can contribute to it, and then, you know, because now we're doubling as artists and then also the business people, like business
Right.
partners.
Have you guys thought about getting like a manager?
Yeah, but I think what's interesting is that I feel like the universe is saying like, once you guys are able to do it like on your own, I'll send you the help. that
I
you
see.
need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you don't have your ducks in a row and somebody approaches you like with the help, because that happened to us already.
Right.
We've had a couple of, I'll never forget this, because Kayla was still in the group at the time too. We went and we met with this investor
Okay.
in Manhattan, basically this bigwig entrepreneur guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was about to put a couple $100,000 into the project.
Right. Right.
But basically, he heard our business plan, which wasn't a real business plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're like, we just want to tour and like beatbox and have fun.
Yeah.
And basically, he was like, look, if I were to back you guys up on this, I don't think you'd be ready for, in terms of, you know,
The amount he was willing to give you.
yeah, and
that
then
stage.
what that would entail.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and he didn't want to lose any money, and that makes sense,
Mhm.
right? But we didn't know that at the time. I don't know. I just was like,
Right.
let's take this meeting and let's
Yeah.
all meet this guy, and it was great because what it taught me in that moment was like, okay, you still have to plan,
Yeah.
you know, and you still have to understand your big picture vision for what you want to pursue.
Yeah.
You know, and like, how are you going to service people with the thing that you're doing? And I think that's the most
Right.
important part. Because like
Yep.
a lot of it's like, look at us, look at me, I'm so cool. Yeah, we beatbox, we're the best. But like, I think to grow is to say, okay, I have these skills now. Like, how can I make things better by using those things that I put my time into?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? And I think that's so important. And that's what I mean by like the game itself being like
Yeah.
different, because now we're kind of approaching, we've gotten to put together full productions now and like do lights and like
Yeah.
like
Go across the
go
world,
across
do
the-
shows.
do shows and stuff, and like we're super experienced. We have like so much stuff that we could do both like solo and then like
Right. Yeah.
as a group, and then like they're tag teams in the group too.
Yeah.
So we have so much music
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, okay, how do you take all of this and boil it down to its essence and then communicate it within like a 60-minute
Right.
thing that people can come
The
watch.
structure. Yeah.
So perfect thing, because I was going to talk about the reels because of that.
Yes.
We live in an age where that's how people are consuming
Mhm.
music and content. And the thing is, it's just annoying when people come and watch. They're like, wow, like this is so great. How come I didn't know beatboxing existed like this?
Right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how you guys like put those reels together? Because they're like cover songs and they're like really accurate.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about how you break it down and stuff?
So Gene does a lot of the arranging.
Yep.
We'll just basically listen to the parts and then track each one individually.
Yep.
And then we'll come in and then we'll put our part in there, and then we work as a group to like arrange who's going to do what.
Right, and
a lot of the
that's
time.
where like figuring out strengths and weaknesses
Yes,
probably. Who can? That's
exactly.
a really clear example of like, okay, who's best fit for the parts.
Yeah.
In those.
And it's cool because like when that's happening and I hear like you're hearing like just getting to work with Gene and Neil and Kenny, and like just seeing what they're able to bring like musically and also
Right.
vibe ways to
Yeah.
just the recordings. It's like, wow, I just want to get better at the quality of my sound, just like the accuracy of that stuff. And that's the thing we all have in common. We want to continue that growth.
Yeah.
Like, what would it look like to just get a little better at this? Because when I hear Neil and he's all the control he has with the lip rolls, and then Gene's pitch, and then Amit's timbre of his voice, and then Kenny, Kenny's got a crazy range. And his quality of sound is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And obviously he's throat flute.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone do a fire truck sound as good as Kenny.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible. No one will ever do it as good. So everyone puts in their part, and then we'll like basically do the video and then overdub it. We'll do it along to the track that we made, and then we'll put it in. We'll just do some EQing, and then we'll upload the thing.
Solid.
And then so we've been doing that for a couple months now,
Right.
And I think just on Thursdays at 12 p.m. that's when we're gonna post, and we've been just doing it since like I don't know, like 4 months ago or something.
Right.
And I think we doubled in followers in the past.
Yeah.
I was
definitely.
I was talking to Amit at Bush this year, and he was saying that you guys were getting likes from like Shaq and like some big celebrities.
Yeah. Everybody. So it's cool because the shares and the likes were from a lot of the time the producer who like Carmack and Troy Boy.
Yeah,
That's
Peekaboo.
Yeah, Peekaboo, Steve Aoki.
Dang.
Yeah, Flowdan was the first one when we did Rumble. It was like, whoa, this, so that was the very first video, that Rumble video with Skrill. We did it, I think, right when we get back from the Philippines.
Okay.
Wow. And Gene was very like keen on like let's
Get the ball rolling.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling, and then and just really haven't stopped.
What opportunities have like come up from the reels, or if any?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of commissions that are starting to come in, like from some labels that are just like, we have this song, like
Could
a lot
you
of
cover
drum and
this?
drum and bass.
Nice.
Yeah, which is really cool. So it's like, well, same process. It's nothing different. It's just this time we're just getting paid a little bit. To do it,
Yeah, exactly.
That's fire.
which is nice. And like now we're, there are a couple people who have seen our videos, like whether it's like an agent or something, and we're taking a couple meetings now just to understand, maybe there's some people who could really help us out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So, but it's cool because we're not putting any money into like the ads or like to boost the posts or whatever.
Right. It's all
You
just
know.
like base what
Yeah.
the algorithm kind of sends to people.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
I think what we're finding is just it's cool that people can see our mouths, that you can follow the parts
Yep.
because of that, and that it's like really high quality, which is why we do.
And people will rewatch it like 5 or 6 times just to
Yes.
hear all the different parts that you're
Right.
Super rewatchable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that being said, you know, we have like 3-4 months of that. And some of the comments were like, "Oh, this is fake. There's no way you guys
Of
do this."
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we recently did an artistic residency. Basically, you know, we have an organization that pays for us to go somewhere and like write music,
Okay.
which we
That's
did.
fire.
And we put together a 20-minute EDM set of all the like reels back to back, just like a
That's crazy.
yeah. And we're gonna be releasing, I think, at the end of the month.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's gonna be out on Spotify
Okay.
with the hope that like, okay, the labels and like festivals will see this, and
It's like a really good showcase.
yeah,
Like a mix that you guys can lay out.
yeah,
Need it.
exactly.
That's awesome.
And it's like a back to back to back, just like a DJ set.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So, because that's 20 minutes, and once that comes out, you know, we'll send it out to a bunch of labels and festivals.
Right.
Like, hey,
right.
we're pretty much ready. And between this time and then like next summer, it would be we want to extend it to 60 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then have lights, visuals. Yeah.
Whole production.
Whole production, exactly. All the blocking on stage, everybody knows where to stand.
That's
Everybody
fire.
has solos, and then we have duos. It'll just be like everything really, really tight and precise. Because the big goal is to like not only just do festivals, but do our own like real, legitimate tour. Like a tour.
Yes.
You know, like
The Beatbox House tour.
yeah. If we can, you know, ideally it would be so super sick to have like Hershey with us and then
Yes.
Honeycomb, you know, so, and just do a straight, you know, because I think we've all been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And like the kind of music also makes sense to all do. And we're kind of in the same place of growth as,
Right.
as artists. And, you know, it's cool to like do stuff with your friends,
Yeah.
So cool.
you know? So yeah, I mean, that's you know, and Kenny went on tour with AJR, like last year, and getting to see their show was like hugely inspiring because it was like, okay. And then they came out to a couple of our Beatbox House shows out in the Hamptons, which is really cool.
Nice.
That's fire.
Yeah. And then we're just seeing their show, and watching Kenny in it, you know, and then also seeing who their opener was. I looked at Gina like, bro, we could do this, bro. Like we're already ready right now. We just got to get
Is this
all
the origin of Spiderhorse?
no. This
Oh,
is not
okay.
the origin
Okay,
of
okay.
This is the origin of like this
Okay.
arc of the story.
I
Yeah,
see.
this latest art.
Yeah. But Spiderhorse, you know, it's if Gene was here, he'd tell you. Like I had a string of tag team partners,
I
Yep.
see.
and then for whatever reason, I like broke up with them.
I
Right,
see.
right. It wasn't working out.
Yeah, it wasn't working out, or like I just wasn't happy with how fast we were growing. And
Right.
I love you, Amit and Johnny, very much. You guys, I still love, and we still crush it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
But Gene and I think we had very similar musical backgrounds.
Yeah, you guys really mesh really well in terms of your
Yeah.
styles.
Yes, our styles work really well together, and then also just the way Gene's brain works is very it's very similar to how my brain works.
Yeah.
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 And so
Even the creative process.
Yeah.
You guys like flow a lot on.
yes,
with.
100%. And just being able to be with sometimes we don't even have to talk. I'm like, we gotta, and then
Yeah.
and you're like, "Mm."
Filling in each other's
Yeah.
sentences.
Well, sometimes we don't even have sentences.
When
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
were on stage at Bush, you weren't even looking at each other. You were just going back and forth off of each other while you were on stage.
Yes. Like, and just being able to do that and just create things with somebody, I think, you know, like that's
That's like what it's about.
yeah, it's the best feeling in the whole world just to
Yeah.
have that. Because
Yeah.
really, it's like we did our show in Japan, like our headline show,
Yeah.
and we did 90 minutes, you know, and then we had 2 openers. Like 1,000 people were there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like by the end of it, people were jumping in,
Yeah.
and then just elated
Yeah.
after the whole thing, and it was like, damn. And then we had visuals, lights, again, another full show. That's already, you know, a whole thing. And
Yeah.
it's great in that, like, when I work with Gene, I feel like there are like no limits. We could do,
Yeah.
we could really just express whatever we want, and we'll figure out how to do it.
Yeah, bring that to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like the most fulfilling thing in the entire world. Because like if you could do that with people that you like, and then you don't have to compromise,
Right.
you can just any idea that comes. That's how we started doing all the acapella stuff.
I see.
Because after we won world champs, I was like, okay, I thought it'd feel better.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was like, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, dude, see, you know that acapella thing, the open. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. How badass would it be if we go in there? It's a bunch of beatboxers and we, you know,
Yeah.
we just and then we did all the way to the end, all the way Carnegie Hall. I'll remember, and I was so nervous.
Oh yeah.
And then,
Oh yeah.
you know, everybody was there. My family, Gene's family, and then they announced Spiderhorse. And then I
Nice.
watched my family freak out, and then you know, my now father-in-law, and then my mother, and my mom just writing on Facebook, "This was the best day of my life." just like, you know,
That's great.
and it's crazy too because we won 25 grand.
That's crazy. For just
Just 2 of us.
That's damn.
Okay, so when that was just like, okay,
Especially for beatboxing too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and that was the year that I also got fired from my teaching job.
Wow.
You know,
Perfect.
so those
Things are meant to happen.
Yeah.
Things are meant to happen.
It's crazy because
Yeah.
that was also I was trying to hold on. I was like,
Right.
I can do everything. I can make this. I can make it happen.
Right.
But really, like something had to give
Yeah.
at some point, you know. And that was my. It's funny because we were practicing for that competition. I got the phone call, and Gene was there, and he was just laughing afterwards. Just, Chris got fired today.
Of course.
Chris got fired. And we're like street performers. I was crying. I was like, okay, but it all worked out, and now you know, it's cool to know that I have a degree. I can go back to teaching at any time.
Yeah.
And it was actually my boss, my one of my administrators who told me, she's like, this is you. It's like, you are one of the best beatboxers in the world and you're teaching at our school.
Wow.
And we love that you're doing that.
Is that why you got fired?
It was one of the reasons, yeah.
Dang.
Because I was performing too much.
Wow. So you're having to take time off.
Yeah, I was
and
had to
stuff.
take a lot of time off.
Right.
And
right.
then I would also just not show up to work sometimes.
I see.
Well, when you got 20 people in your apartment, it
Yeah.
makes it a little difficult.
It was hard. Let me
Yeah,
tell you.
stressful.
It was a little hard. And I think at that time I was really depressed.
I see.
Because I was looking for purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
And maybe trying to find purpose in everything, and you can't do everything.
Right.
You just, like, as a human, we cannot physically do everything, even if we want to, if our
Right.
mind thinks we can.
Yeah.
So that can really, like, bring you down when you're not succeeding like you want to and all those things.
Yes, exactly that. And I think that was a huge learning curve for me.
Right.
Because I think at some point I had to admit that I couldn't do it all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And it's like, I want to look like I'm Superman to my parents, and I want to like
Right.
have all, get married and show that I'm ready to go. But like, that's,
It's too much to ask of yourself.
yeah. And I want it. It's just, even now to this day, like I did a lot of that for like a lot of validation and external, just to like feel that I was okay in myself.
Right, right.
I would go to the ends of the earth just to prove that I had value as a human.
I see.
Yeah.
And so, but I wouldn't let anybody in to
Yeah.
like see that I was struggling or that I needed help. and that spilled over into everything, whether
Right.
it was like Beatbox House stuff or my relationships or, even like professional relationships. I
Yeah.
always felt like I had to put on a front and then never would connect with people.
Right, right.
But that whole arc of just getting fired and now doing, Gene, I think, is responsible for that whole thing because he'd be like, dude, just don't go to work. I was like, dude, I gotta go to work. He's like, nah, man. Okay. And then I'd walk out of my room at like 11 a.m. and then he'd be there. And he's like, you didn't go to work. I was like, I didn't go to work. Fuck. Damn it. Let's beatbox.
Yep, there
You
you
know what I
are.
mean? Yeah.
So how did Spiderhorse come to be?
I
Like,
mean, just
Gene doing that day after day
Yeah.
after day after day.
yeah, no, really. It's we just have a similar work ethic and ability to work on things because we both come from, I think, really good music education. Like, we had a lot of good teachers
Yeah.
Yep.
and directors who and they're similar enough with their backgrounds that we knew how to practice
Yeah.
and learn. Just
That's like
it's-
the biggest tool.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
exactly.
can teach yourself, you'll
Yes.
never stop learning.
exactly, just the ability to go through things, even the really boring stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and nail it, and just
Mhm.
Yeah.
and just like, okay, oh god, this is really hard, and we're gonna figure it out, and then we're gonna get to the end of the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just having another person that's also a beatboxer who's willing to do that work,
Mm-hmm.
that's all it is.
So,
It's just, it's super simple.
Yeah.
And you apply it to every single thing that you do. Whether it's
Yeah.
like, any of the music videos we had, we shot them ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Kaz. Kaz was also there. But like,
Nice.
we had,
Mm-hmm. The
we would-
directive
Yeah.
like energy that went into that. You
Yeah.
also like in your music, in your visuals, and all of it.
yeah, it all, exactly. And we're very particular because we want to communicate things.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have our different, like, when we did our Grateful video, like, I did a lot of the heartfelt emotional content, and then Gene did
Okay.
a lot of the drawing,
Mhm.
and like all the neon stuff, and that was Adobe. We stayed up 2 days straight just like editing together. I don't know
Yeah.
how to use Premiere like that, but I learned how to cut and all this. I had a bad cut. I remember sharing the first cut of that, and then Kaz was like, "That's really bad." I was like, "No, I worked like the whole night on this." And I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to do it again." I was like, "Fuck."
Yep.
Okay, but
Yeah.
it paid off because
Yeah.
even though it has like 20,000 views, but I don't care because it's like, I love that we made that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
put the
yeah.
work in and
Yeah.
you're proud of that.
Yeah. And it's cool, when people have watched and they're like, whoa, like, this is super, like,
Yeah.
this one video person, they're like, wow.
You communicated that vision.
Yes.
How you wanted to in that.
And
So,
that's
fulfilled you.
Yes. And that's the whole point of everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true.
And, just when it comes to, what I'm doing with Gene or like the house, it all comes back to that. I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, who are you and how can you communicate that such that it can remind other people that they're able to do the same.
I see.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, what everybody wants, like,
Yeah.
more than they want to connect with the truth in another person.
Yeah.
And they want
Yeah,
to see
wow.
people be that,
Right.
know?
Yeah.
They don't want to see a front or a face
No.
that you're putting on.
Not at all.
And people aren't stupid. You know when
Yeah.
somebody's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny because in a lot of beatbox battles, that's why they get boring.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody is playing into a formula. If you think about to the people who win, the thing that they have in common is that they're themselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You
It's
could you could grind for like a whole year, make up a set of routines, and come in like last.
100%. You can grind on it because the real work, because that work is just as important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I think understanding who you are and what you want to say with those routines
Yeah.
is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, because you
Yes.
can have crazy bass and gnarly sounds, but if you can't put them together in a pleasing way that'll leave.
And it's a performance.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are seeing you, they're feeling your energy on that stage as well. And
Right.
so that's because I feel like maybe it's a little different with like virtual battles
Yeah.
or seeing somebody's like BBU round or something on like it's so produced, it's so mixed that it's like it's a production. It's
Right.
like a movie almost
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
a sense. But a live performance with a live mic that you are holding and making the sounds into, it's a whole different environment.
Yeah, because people want to feel like they're with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you put something, whether it's like, oh, I have to sound this way so that they'll think it's good.
Right.
Even that, you've now created
Yeah.
there's a barrier now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's so
right?
true.
You know? So,
You put a bunch of effects on your voice. Well, my voice doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
I could never sound like that or something like that.
right, exactly. And then now you've created all of the, like this huge like gap between,
Right.
and then you're going to start talking to yourself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not good enough. Like, there's no way I'm going to sound like this.
Right.
And then I just wish I didn't spend so much time worrying about that.
I see.
Because I think it's also an important thing to go through, because I think
Yeah.
everybody has some sort of anxiety or something around like wanting to. I want people to like my stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right, right.
I want everyone to see that I'm good, that I'm able to like be good enough as a performer, beatboxer,
Yeah.
Right.
whatever, right? But I think knowing that it's totally okay to be like not perfect and just your own unique
Yep.
version of yourself, and
Yeah.
communicating that is
Mm-hmm.
it's worth all of the worry and then conquering it, if that makes sense.
100%.
You know?
I feel like I really needed to hear that as well, because I can relate that so much even just in like my personal music production. I hold on to so many projects because I need to get this one section perfect and absolutely right, and then I haven't released a song in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's more about just the fact of communication. Even if sure you'll always hear something that you wish you could have gotten a little bit better that you
Yes.
hear yourself, but the fact that you at least put that out there as something for people to hear, for people to connect with, is something that is what it's about.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
That's exactly it.
And like, I think when you try to hold on to something and perfect it and say, I'm not going to put something out until I get this like exactly how I want to hear it, you're always growing as a person. Your work should be a reflection of you like growing, even the stuff that you put out there. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be perfect.
Right, 100%. I think it's so important that every day, and this, because I do the same thing,
Yep.
you know? It's like I have hundreds of tracks
Hundreds. Literally.
that are just like, you know, like I really love making things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been obsessed with how it'll be received, which is why I've never put it out.
Yep.
Right? But like that obsession is really just me trying to protect myself from what other people are going to say. But I think, you know, I think everybody wants to be seen and understood and heard, and like artists, I think especially, like we're just sensitive people.
Yeah.
And I think just being able to, this is like my hope for the beatbox scene too, that we could just be
Everyone listen up.
like just kinder to each other, because we're all learning,
Right.
you know. And like a minute 30 round should not determine your worth as a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, like how your Instagram bio says you're the top whatever in the country. Like,
Right. It shouldn't be about adding another number. You
It's
know,
like being
2x to 3x.
Rich in Monopoly.
Yeah.
What's it actually get you?
right. And I think it's important to highlight those big wins. I think that is important, or those things as you grow in your career.
Right.
'Cause you gain the confidence
Yeah.
to know that you can do that. But it also doesn't mean you're any less valuable as a person. And I think that's such an important distinction that we have to make, because I know for a fact with beatboxing, there are a lot of people, specifically like young men, people identify as men,
Yep.
like who are, the reason they go to beatboxing is because they don't have another outlet,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're I want to express all this rage and anger and like
Right.
find other people. Well, I find my tribe of people where I belong, and then they
Yeah.
get to a place where they're basically just comparing themselves to other people. And when they don't do well, oh, here's another example of me sucking. I might as well be a piece of shit or something. Then they start, either taking it out of themselves or other people.
Right.
But that's like a human thing, and that's what happens in growth. And I think as you're growing, like the way we can be better is to just like, guys, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, even if you lose a battle, it doesn't mean you suck. It just means you need to go practice a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you don't talk to people who you trust to give you advice to like level up not just your sounds, but also like your presence and your ability as both a beatboxer and as a person, because you want to have both.
Yeah.
The reason, people, and granted, there's so much good growth that's happening in the scene. There's so many cool sounds and like amazing things that are being made. But what's going to stop the scene from really getting to the next level is our growth as people.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I think this is on my generation too. And anybody who's from my generation is watching. Like, we need to just lead by an example of how to be as people as well, how to have constructive conversations, and also still practice, put in the work for me, it's important to like, maybe in like 30 years, I can say I've mastered something.
Right.
Or even by that time, and hearing people who talk like that, when they get to there, they're like, oh, I know nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but like, I want to put in the time still.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how musically we will sound by then, like what sounds are going to be available, and what ways has technology and our voice developed to the point of, what can we express at that point? And that's a cool question that's going to keep me busy personally for a very, very, very long time. And I think that's why people get into beatboxing, because they hear something, they're like, oh my God, I know you can do that.
Right. Yeah.
But it's in all of that, there's nothing about saying that you're just better than somebody else. Right? And I think the competitive aspect of it, as important as it is, it'll box you in it forever if you just focus on that.
Yeah.
Because the game ends at some point.
Yeah.
The game finishes at GBB or World Beatbox Championships.
Right, yeah.
And where are you going to go? You're going to do it again? You want to do it 7 times, 8 times? You could do that, if that's part of your process. And I think for some people that might be important. But there's so much life.
Yeah.
And so many really successful beatboxers out there who are actually doing it. Look at Kayla, Mark, Verbal Ace.
The group that went on America's Got Talent, I'm not too sure of their name, but they went on. Are you familiar?
Are you talking about Berry Wump?
I might be. They were like they were a 5-man group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 4 now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because MB14 is now a movie star.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
Over in France. Yeah.
That's
good
crazy.
for him.
Yeah, movie star, also, voice, AGT,
Looping, singing, big screen.
Yes.
Nothing
exactly.
you can't do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, wow. Like, there's so much amazing stuff that people are doing. And, everybody over in Japan and also in Korea.
Right. The international, aspect. It's worldwide. It's not just an American scene. It's not just a European scene. It's worldwide.
And I think we're living in a time where all those barriers of country and all that stuff are kind of, they're falling away because we can communicate with each other now.
Oh, yeah.
And so you see stuff that's happened, just hearing Wing or hearing the stuff that Sarukani's doing over there, and then Rofu and So-So. Yeah, just how it's growing over there. That inspires everybody over here and inspires the Europeans. And we do, we're just now everybody's sharing everything.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really exciting. And
it's like a hope of constructive growth with all of that, not tearing each other down.
Yeah.
It should be an area where there's so much information available, be, you know, we should all feel safe and free to talk with each other and openly communicate and get tips and get help.
Yeah.
Build each other up.
Because that's how in the Beatbox House we got better faster.
Right.
By sharing, not by hoarding.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and you know, I watch it. I'm watching it still.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just and you know who's also really amazing at this? The French.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you look at their generations of beatboxers, there's like Firebras, and then you have Kim. Like these are like the OG.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, before then you had, let's not forget about Eclipse, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, it's just like, what? And
Yeah.
what? Just like Eclipse, Saiyan Super Crew,
Mhm.
and then just you have so many beatboxers that come from a community, and what they do in France is they keep that mentorship and that lineage very strong, and
Mhm.
they make sure they take care of each other.
That's
which is,
great.
Which is why
Wow.
their skill is like
Right,
you know,
right.
the
Yeah.
best. Really.
I
But
was
it's-
talking to Collapse at American Champs, and he was saying that in France, it's a lot different than the U.S. because we're more like about our style, whereas in France, it's about like
The French-
technicality
yeah.
and like hitting perfect everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like but that's exactly, they have a national identity when
Yeah,
it comes
exactly.
to like a
Yeah.
style of beatboxing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Not many
They
countries
share
can
that.
say that.
Yeah, and it's cool when you go overseas, you can see their culture reflected in their beatboxing. Like if you look at American beatboxing, it's because we're individuals here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
It's kind of a melting pot of
Yeah.
so much different stuff.
Yeah, so you know you can look at everybody. Take vocoder, and
Yeah.
then you know, and then Gene. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Just
Yep.
both freaking, you know, great.
Amazing.
Yeah, but like there's-
Wildly different
Opposite
styles.
ends of
Yeah,
the spectrum.
it's like how do you judge that?
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like in a musical way. Now, if
Yeah.
you're,
Mhm.
you know, in a battle, that's what I mean too. In a battle, you're going in with the context of being scrutinized for something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So you're
Mhm.
basically going to say, okay, did I technically execute my ideas better than this other person?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
part of that is the performance, and the whole paradox of the whole thing is like, if you can be the person who communicates your ideas the best, you will win the battle.
Yep.
I see.
Be yourself, and
Well-
tell your what you have to tell. Your message.
On that note, do you want to go to the subscribers only section?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Let's do it.
Well, thanks for checking out the video version of Highly Intelligent. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we get out of here?
Check out that. When is this going to come out? Okay, make sure you check out that on Beatbox House on Spotify, Spiderhorse on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at the Beatbox House, and
There's a good chance that mix will be out by the time this is posted.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have
Yeah.
like a direct link to that. That's out on the Spotify.
Yeah.
Let's go. What else? Gene and I's headline show is for sale on our website somewhere.
I'll link that too.
Link that. It's
Mhm.
crazy. It's the best thing we've ever done. It's just freaking.
Y'all ain't ready.
Yeah. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Beatbox House. All of our handles are on there. Kenny,
Mhm.
Gene, Amit, Neil, aka Napalm, me. And
There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beatbox is for everyone.
yeah.
Definitely.
And thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Mhm.
watching Highly Intelligent. Thanks for coming on the show. And I'll see you guys later.